Cancellations inevitable. The AA are warning motorists not to use their cars unless absolutely necessary. We'll have a live report from their headquarters later. For thousands of people, the only option was to stay at home. British Rail had to cancel more than 300 trains. Motoring organisations have had to deal with over 4,000 breakdowns, and thousands of schoolchildren have had to miss lessons as 500 schools were forced to close. But what can we expect tonight? The latest from our weatherman, Jack Scott.
Well, the past 24 hours has been the coldest in London since 1940, when we first kept records. The next 24 hours, there'll be very little improvement, if any. I'll have more details later.
But as we mentioned earlier, it was Kent and Essex that bore the brunt of the heavy snowfall. Our reporter Ken Andrews been taking a bird's-eye view of the chaos.
Kent has spent much of the day shivering in temperatures that stayed well below zero. More than 24 inches of snow fell during the night. Many roads were impassable and conditions on others were described as treacherous. The Isle of Sheppey was cut off until snowplows opened up the road bridge that connects it to the mainland. People living in isolated villages on the island tended to heed the police warnings and stay at home.
Well, it affects the village so much as food-wise. We've just been down to the shop down there, and you say the milkman's just turned up. They have 1 pint of milk left, because that is the problem. You've only got the one road. You know, you accept that when you are here. You do get blocked off.
Well, I mean, if you do get completely cut off, what are you going to have to do?
Watch telly, I suppose, unless that gets cut off.
This tailback of lorries built up on a stretch of the 7-mile road near East Peckham after several broke down. Drivers heading inland from the Medway ports couldn't get up the ungritted hill, and matters were made worse when this Spanish lorry skidded into a ditch. How long are you likely to be here for?
If he gets up that hill, we'll go now, but if he doesn't, we're going to be here a long time by the looks of it.
Some farmers took the precaution of bringing their cattle in last night. Others used tractors to take feed out to the stranded animals. We're now at about 500 feet above the hop fields of Kent and in the middle of a snowstorm. It's a snowstorm that's travelling towards London and should hit the capital at around 7 o'clock this evening. All motorways in the county had severe speed limits imposed. At police headquarters in Maidstone, calls for help were coming in at twice the normal rate, with many drivers having broken down on the motorways. But despite the conditions, some drivers were still travelling too fast.
Certainly the conditions look as though they're going to deteriorate again overnight, and there's every possibility that tomorrow morning the situation could be even worse than it is today.
Now, that's even if there's no more snow tonight. You still think road conditions will get even worse in the morning?
Yes, I think with sub-zero temperatures and with the roads icing up, then again conditions tomorrow morning could be very, very bad. And I would ask the public to just look at tomorrow as a totally separate day and to view it in isolation.
The only people who seemed to enjoy the conditions today were these children out sledging, but for most, winter has arrived with a vengeance. Last night's snow has clearly caught many people in the southeast on the hop. And with driving conditions likely to get much worse, the message from the emergency services is if your journey isn't absolutely necessary, then stay at home. This is Ken Andrew in Kent for Thames News.
A view from the air of what winter's brought for many of us today. Well, in central London tonight, things are a little better, but with more snow likely later.
On the railways, southern region is worst affected. At the moment, there's only a very limited service to Kent. Trains to Surrey, Sussex and Hampshire, though, are getting back to normal. On eastern region, there's a shuttle service between Fenchurch Street and Thorpe Bay. Still no trains into Southend Victoria Station. Elsewhere, skeleton service.